Hi friends, thanks for being here. My name's Jess and today's video I think is going to be a little bit different from previous ones because I want to move away from the narcissistic theme and I want to talk about estrangement between adult children and their parents, and specifically I want to actually talk to the parents out there who are in the situation where your adult child won't speak to you. And I want to talk to it from my perspective, which is someone who has made the decision not to communicate with my parents, and having talked to a lot of people who've made the similar decision. And I want to be very clear from the start. I have, normally on this channel, I do talk about narcissism and narcissistic families. My situation is that my parents are, I believe, narcissistic. But I am not saying that any parent whose child doesn't speak to them is a narcissist. That is absolutely, I want to get that straight out there. That is not what I'm saying. There are going to be a million different reasons. Every relationship is different. So please don't think that just because this is more of a narcissist channel that I am talking about this in this situation. That's not my intention. What I want to do is actually just give a few thoughts and perspectives from this side of the relationship, the child side, as to why these situations occur. So I'm just putting the video out there in the hopes that if you are struggling with a child who isn't has made the decision not to speak to you, to just try and give some perspective on what's happening or what could be happening on their side of things, and really in the hope that it could help. So from my perspective, there are a few things that are common throughout the kind of the estrangement process that adult children make when they decide that they no longer want to have that communication with their parents. So the first point is that coming to the decision that you are no longer going to communicate with your parent or parents or another family member potentially, is a very, very difficult decision for the child to make. It's incredibly difficult. For me, potentially one of the hardest I've ever had to make. It's not done lightly. It is not done on the spur of the moment. It is not done off the cuff in anger from one event. It is not childish backlash. It is not adolescent, rebelliousness. It is a decision that is made on the back of a long period of difficulty from the child's perspective. There may be a catalyst. There may be something that has brought this, the problems to light, but it is not a storm in a teacup. It is not something we're going to just get over and move on. We are adults and we have made that decision very, very carefully. The second point from the child's perspective is that we understand as well as you do how primal and how fundamental the relationship is between the child and the adult, between us and our parents. We know that. We know that. We may not have had that conversation with you, but we know that. And it may not be conscious, but we do know how primal the relationship is. And so when we decide to make that cut, to remove ourselves, we hurt too. We understand the biological need to have a good relationship with our parents. We understand the social need to have that bond. We understand the stigma around not having a happy family or not knowing what to say when someone asks how your family is doing. We feel that too. That happens to us as well. So it's happening on both sides. And my goal of making that point is just to show that it is a very, very complex situation. There is a lot of hurt. And so I'll come back to it. I don't think it's irreconcilable, but I think it's a very, very difficult situation. And something is wrong. You need to accept that something is fundamentally wrong. Whether you want to accept it or not, there is a problem and it needs to be addressed. If you want to fix it, it needs to be addressed. And so I guess if you're thinking, well, you as the parent want to have a relationship with the child and ultimately the child wants to have a relationship with the parent, then why are we doing this? Why aren't we speaking to you? Why are we hurting you like this? We're not doing it to hurt you. We're not doing it to hurt you. We're doing it to stop ourselves hurting more. We're doing it because we feel we don't have any other choice. We don't know any other way around this. It's a last resort. We don't want to have to do this, but we feel that we have no choice. So you could say, well, of course you have a choice. You can come and talk to me about it and we can fix it. Well, we don't feel that we can. We do not feel that that is an option. And that is the fact of the matter. Where that is our reality from where we're sitting. It's obviously going to be different to your reality. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this conflict. But it is our reality and it is our valid truth. And we understand that although this relationship is very, very fundamental to us, it is not sacred. And what I mean by that, it is not mandatory. As adults, goes for parents, goes for kids, goes for everybody. As adults, there are no mandatory, obligatory relationships. We all have a choice as to who we have a relationship with. Yes, there are consequences and there are more important relationships than others, but ultimately we all have a choice. And if you're watching this and you are estranged from your child, then the tough love is that your child has realized that they have a choice around their relationship with you, and they have chosen not to have one. And whilst I don't think it is final, I don't think it is irreconcilable, I don't think it is forever irreversible, but I do think that as much as it's hard to break that tie, it's also going to be hard. It's going to be just as much work, just as much to get it back. I think it's possible, but I think the first thing is to realize that your child knows that they have a choice. And so if you are watching this and you are wanting to reconcile with your child, I think it's not going to be easy. And so if I can and give you some opinions from my perspective and from what I've seen my parents doing, and I've kind of the stories I've heard about other parents, is you have to acknowledge that the way your child is feeling and their actions are valid and they're real. You probably don't like them, you don't agree with them, but they're valid and they're real, and they're what your child has decided to do as an adult with the best decision-making abilities that they have available to them. So not acknowledging what they're doing, not acknowledging their reasons, not listening, not taking on board the gravity of the situation and not taking responsibility for your side of the relationship is not going to work. blaming it on entitled millennials, of which I've seen, or the fact that they don't love you or care about you, the fact that they don't have family values in your way, none of those things are going to help. They're not going to work. They're going to push your child further away. So I would say, if I could give any advice on it, is to seek a professional help, to seek a counselor, to seek a therapist who are, people are trained in this kind of thing. They can look at it from an independent and non-judgmental perspective. They can give you ideas, and they can give you tools and strategies. They may even be able to mediate or be a kind of a safe in-between. I don't think that estrangement happens randomly or without very good reasons. So if you really don't know what that reason is, then you might need to talk it through with someone to get that perspective that maybe your child can't give you because you're so close. You are so close and so enmeshed. Maybe you just need that third person to say, hey, this is, it could be what's going on. This might be what your child is thinking, but they can't tell you. They don't feel safe enough, or they haven't even figured it out themselves. So getting professional help with that, I think, is hugely important. And also to work through the feelings and the rejection and the grief that comes around this kind of really difficult and heart-rending situation. Nobody wants it. Nobody wins. It is fixable, but there's a lot of work to be done there. So I hope that helps a little bit, and I really hope that you can take this video in the manner which I mean it, which is to try and help and not assign, actually. No, I'm not trying to blame anybody, is what I want to say. I just want to give a perspective, and I wish you a lot of luck and a lot of love in the situation that you're in. And if you are, to flip it around, that child who is thinking about or is estranged from your parents or parents or other family members, then I think be kind to yourself and to the parents too out there. Let's all be, if we're kind and honest with ourselves and gentle with ourselves and treat ourselves with that love and respect that we want to treat, if we treat ourselves with that, then I think we can treat other people in that way, and then maybe reconciliation is a possibility. But either way, we need to make sure that we're looking after ourselves. And if reconciliation means, or staying in the relationship means sacrificing too much of what you need for yourself and your life, then that's okay too. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. If you have any questions or comments, I really would like to hear them. So please drop me a line below if you want to share your opinion or have any questions or comments, and I will look forward to talking to you again another time. You take care, my friends. Lots of love. Bye for now.